out. Here come former SportsCenter anchor Bob Stevens, esteemed basketball coach Rich Basirico, and Hall of Fame sports writer Curry Kirkpatrick. And someone's going under the bus.
Hey there, Justin Jarrett sitting in for Bob Stevens, holding court once again with Rich Basirico and Curry Kirkpatrick, talking all things sports here on the Lowco Media Network on Under the Bus, presented by Hudson Seafood House on the docks. Our great friends over there. I'm told get that po' boy Andrew's way if you really want to enjoy it, the proper way. But the sunsets, the cocktails, everything's good at Hudson's, one of the best places on one of the best islands in the world, right here on Hilton Head Island. So, fellas, how we doing? I guess we've got to start. Bob's still on his trip. Curry,
wait a minute. What, did you guys hear a noise?
I hear people crying in Chapel Hill.
I think James Madison just scored again.
I was going to say, you just got back from your big trip up to Chapel Hill, and
I know. This was just a game that I had decided on going on. I actually went to a concert in Charlotte, and so I thought, well, I'd go to Chapel Hill to see the game before, and I went with a couple of Carolina friends. So I was at this thing, and it was as horrific as the score looked, because my friends and I was with a couple from Chapel Hill, and we just sat there, and we couldn't. I mean, the stadium couldn't believe this thing. It was just James Madison seemed to know every play that we were making, especially on defense. Every pass they made, none of our defensive guys anywhere near them. And the score kept going. It was late in the second, and we were thinking, this is just Jimmy Madison. They're not even in our division. We can come back on these people. And I looked over and I said, no, you're not seeing this. You're not looking at this. They are doing anything they want. And it was 50. They had 53 at the half.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's absolutely crazy. Curry, not to put salt in the wounds, but James Madison only beat Gardner-Webb 13-6. Gardner-Webb. And they beat Charlotte too, which, I mean, you can't. It's hard to believe.
The theory on that, Rich, was that James Madison was not showing anything before the Carolina game. They were not going to show the Tar Heels anything, and they also had a week off. So, and they're coached by this guy named Bob Chesney, who was really neat. He was running around on the sideline. Of course, we were joking. He was Kenny Chesney's brother, but he wasn't Kenny Chesney's brother. I mean, it's the only thing we could laugh about. I mean, the students all left at halftime. At the end of the game, there were some boos. And then, what made it worse, you guys, was Mac Brown in the post-game press conference. I mean, and there were all these rumors that he came in and quit and resigned right in the locker room. And then it was rumors that he asked the team if he should resign and all this other stuff. Of course, we weren't there. We weren't there for that. But, it just made it and they handled it so badly, the university, and they kept handling it badly. The next day, Mac Brown had another presser. The guy's 73 years old, okay? And he loves to be the grandfather of college coaches. I still think he's the active coach with the most wins now that Saban's gone and a couple of the other guys are gone. Right. But in his presser on Monday, he's tried to explain everything, and he just babbled on mercilessly. I mean, he made it worse. He didn't explain anything. It was like Biden. It was like Biden in the debate, really. And people, he's 73, and it's time to go. I mean, Rich, that's what you texted me, right? You just saw the score,
right? But I mean, for any team to put up 70 points, but Jimmy Madison to come in and put 70 at Chapel Hill is mind-boggling. But Curry, I looked at the stats. Actually, North Carolina had more total yards overall and more first downs.
Well, our offense was good. I mean, we found a quarterback, I think. We found a guy that can play quarterback. But I just think the university, the chancellor and the athletic director were in the locker room, whatever happened there. Yeah. But so here's what they did. On Monday presser, they said, no, the players will not be available to the press until after the Duke game this Saturday. Well, that's unprecedented. I mean, Carolina players are always eligible. They close a lot. They didn't close the locker room. They said players are unavailable after the game Saturday night. Then on Monday, they said players are unavailable the rest of the week. I mean, what's going on here? It's just, and then even, I mean, it's a joke because even this morning on ESPN, they were joking that, that Jeff Saturday, the former Carolina guy who was Peyton Manning's center, and, who was intermittent coach at the Indianapolis Colts, it was a joke.
Yeah.
He went back to ESPN. They were joking that he's going to take over the Carolina Jets. So,
Oh, is that right? Wow.
yeah, well, but no, it was a total joke. He said, no way. How about, we were joking before he came on about you wearing your orange shirt for your Clemson guys. How about the state of North Carolina Saturday?
NC State was awful too. They were terrible.
Clemson put 45 on them at the half, right?
I thought
They got 54.
Dude, they're awful.
Clemson got 54, and Tennessee got 50 on NC State. And then Appalachian State, who's usually very steady, Clemson put 60 on them.
Right. And then South Alabama came in and beat their tar out of them, didn't they?
49.
Yeah.
South Alabama got 49. I mean, somebody said that the theme song of the state of North Carolina football should be the great Green Day song, "Wake Me Up When September Ends." Yes. I don't know.
That's perfect.
The good news is that basketball practice began Monday. Started Monday, and
maybe they could end the season early and start basketball earlier.
Yeah,
NC State was a top 20 team preseason, top 20.
I know.
They look terrible.
Well, we always lose. Here's the deal: we always beat Duke, and we always lose to North Carolina State. And I'm wondering, if Mac Brown goes over there and beats Duke Saturday, and the next week they have Pittsburgh coming in. If they beat them, this game will be sort of forgotten, but not really. But if they compile a couple more losses, it's going to get very nasty at Chapel Hill. And
don't you think he's going to step down at the end of this year, regardless of how the season goes?
I'm sure he's going to step down at the end of the year, but the question is, are they going to go tell him? Yeah, are they going to tell him, look, a couple weeks from now, if they're getting blown out a couple times, they're going to go to Mac and say, hey, maybe it's time to go now. The funny thing to me is he's got an assistant coach who the players all love, who they say would take over the middle. Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens was a laughing stock in the NFL.
Right.
He was a total laughing stock. I don't get it. But
I don't get it either sometimes. Some of these games you can't figure out. I mean, even look at the NFL. I mean, look at some of the teams. The Giants won. Washington won. Carolina won.
Panthers won.
Panthers
Dalton.
And Denver. And how about to add to all those four teams I just mentioned? Remember last week we talked about home field advantage? All four of those teams were underdogs by at least 5.5 points or more. All won on the road. All four of them went on the road.
Sounds like a better. Sounds like a better to me. Sounds like somebody's betting heavy stuff here.
No, not me. Not the NFL. Trust me, the NFL is
too unpredictable. Too unpredictable. But staying on college football and speaking of Andy Dalton and TCU, Curry, you brought to my attention today some great trolling. TCU. I went digging and I found out that TCU brought it on itself. Because they went trolling about playing the CW because the ACC's deal is with the CW, which the CW goes to more households than ESPN Plus, which is what a lot of the Big 12 games are on at this point. But
can we get back to that later? I just want to bring up the news. The news of the last few days talking about basketball schools. How about UNLV, which is a football team? The quarterback. The quarterback announces he's leaving school immediately and isn't going to play anymore.
And now the running back's following.
Running back now. Now is the running back leaving too.
Oh, is that right?
That's right. That's starting running back.
That's in the last hour. That was
this afternoon. Yeah.
Is he saying he didn't get the money he was promised? Also,
he's also saying he was made promises that have not been fulfilled.
And he wants the red shirt.
Yep.
And then he has actually 2 more years left. He's a transfer from NC State. But the quarterback was a transfer from Holy Cross.
Yeah.
It's not like he transferred from
played 4 years at Holy Cross. Matthew Sluka, who lives on the second floor, by the way, also. he he's not even an NFL prospect, so he was looking to make a big payday, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And he says they offered him 100,000. Some
100K.
assistant coach, his agent says an assistant coach offered him 100,000 verbal agreement.
Yeah.
Verbal agreement. That's the word that got me.
Yeah.
And the school has come back and said that the agent demands are a violation of the NCAA pay for play rules. What rules? What are they talking about? They don't have any pay for play rules, and it would be against the Nevada state law.
Right.
What are they talking about? They don't have any pay for play rules.
They have state laws in Nevada?
Yeah, well, and not to mention,
I thought they outlawed those.
This is the University of Vegas we're talking about, UNLV. When Tarkanian came there, all he did was get piles of dough from all the celebrities. I mean, where's Wayne Newton when you need him? What is this? I mean, where's Wayne Newton? Where's Celine Dion? Where's Donny Osmond? Where Barry Manilow? Where are Barry Manilow?
Because he's played well in his first 3 games that he bumped the price up, and they're saying we didn't agree to it. The head coaches, I didn't agree with it. Maybe my assistant did, but I didn't agree with it. The assistant coach is not talking. He's not.
Well, the head
saying
coach is my guy Barry Odom, Mizzou guy.
Well, exactly. But here's why the coaches want to keep away from this. And each school has what do they call it, to deal with an NIL?
A pool, basically.
Yeah, and that's the collective, they call it. At Vegas, they call it the collective. The collective is saying, we never promised this kid 100,000. The kid is saying, yes, the assistant coach did.
Somebody did.
But why aren't these things contractually? Why isn't there any contractual agreement? I mean, do other schools have just verbal agreements with? I mean, quarterbacks in the SEC are getting $1 million a year. I've told.
I'm pretty sure that it's usually a contractual thing. I think this was some under the table shady dealing. Maybe they were relying on a donation from P. Diddy and it didn't come through.
Well, exactly. That's why because it's UNLV, that's what struck me, because I remember I was close to the basketball situation, and Tarkanian could get any money he wanted from celebrities. I mean, this would never happen if Liberace was still alive.
Liberace would have forked out to keep the quarterback and the running back.
You're right. Wayne Newton should step up. Wayne Newton should step up to the plate. Come on.
Wayne, where are you? Oh, he spends too much money on his face jobs.
That's right.
I would lose money betting on whether Wayne Newton is alive or dead.
You wouldn't even recognize him, Justin.
Come on.
Recognize him.
Well,
I haven't thought about him in so long.
Before we get to the TCU SMU thing, I also want to bring another classic under the bus. By the way, we're throwing these people under the bus, right?
100%.
These guys are going one after the other. The whole North Carolina football program under the bus. But another guy who is a favorite of mine, Hugh Freeze, who always manages to butthole it up wherever he lands. I mean, he was at Mississippi, had some success, and got fired for personal problems. Then he went to Liberty. Somehow Liberty hired him, was very successful there. And now Auburn's got him, and Auburn, got him last year to turn around their program. And he came up with a 6-7 record last year. Now this year, he has a couple of good quarterbacks, he thought, and all they do is throw interceptions. He got a guy, they were upset by Cal the first week, and his quarterback, guy named Peyton Thorne, threw 4 interceptions in the Cal game, 4. And then, so he brings in a guy named Hank Brown, and they're playing Arkansas last week, and he threw 3 in the first half. He brought in Thorne, and he throws another one to seal the game for Arkansas. And then here's the great Hugh Freeze after the game. I know we have people open. We got to find a guy who won't throw it to the other team. That's not even the worst thing. I mean, he throws everybody under. He said, I know there's, he said, no offense to Arkansas, and I like Coach Pittman, but if we played them 9 more times, we'd beat them 9 more times. What?
I would never say that as a coach.
No.
What does it say about him and his coaching ability? What does that say about him?
That's like
Jeez.
Trump after he got his ass kicked by Kamala. It's the same thing. Oh, I won this game.
Well, it's always funny to me too when a college coach throws their sorry players under the bus, because it's like, well, you recruited them and
That's
developed
right.
them, so whose fault is that?
That's right.
That's
That's right.
exactly right. Exactly.
Freeze is so bad. One of his former quarterbacks, a guy at Mississippi, Bo Wallace, who's always on X, he posted on Max. He said, Freeze throws so many quarterbacks under the bus that nobody wants to play for him anymore. Why
Yeah.
is it? He said, why is it every time there's a loss, it's someone else's fault?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's Hugh Freeze.
Well, you got to take ownership. Coaches got to take ownership. When you start throwing assistant coaches under the bus, obviously your players, you're going down the wrong path. You won't get those kids to play for you. They won't play for you. You got to take ownership of that as a team. You win as a team and you lose as a team. That's kind of sad stuff when guys do that.
Rich, you never had a player that came to you and said he's not getting paid enough?
Maybe not getting enough playing time to match how much his parents were paying.
You have had guys. I'll bet, Rich, you have had guys that came and said, "I'm not getting enough attention. I'm not getting enough."
Oh yeah. Well, I have a great story to tell. I had a dad come in and see me and said, "Can you share with me why my son's not playing?" I said, "Absolutely," and I explained to him that told him different things. One of them, he didn't know the plays very well, and he was out of shape. And I went down the road. He goes, "Well, I appreciate you telling me that. Would you be willing to share it with my son?" I said, "Absolutely." He said, "But please do not tell him I came to speak to you." I said, "I won't tell him any of this." So I bring him in the next day and I say to him, I guess you're not really happy," because he didn't play. He didn't really play a whole lot. So I said, "I know you're probably disappointed you're not playing." He said, "Coach, I know why I'm not playing." And he knew all the things, I'm out of shape. I don't really know the plays extremely well. I totally know. So his dad said to me, the first thing he said to me, "Our family's devastated." And no, the dad's devastated. The kid's not. The kid was happy to just be on the team. He was happy to be on the team. The dad's the one that was devastated, and the kid knew exactly why he wasn't playing. So
the kids know, they can see it.
Of course they do. Of course they know. Parents are there at practice. When kids go home after practice and a parent, and especially at the high school level, says, "How was practice?" You know what they say? "It was good.
Good.
It was good.
Good.
That was it." They don't say anything more than that.
Good.
They don't know if they
Good
were
practice,
late
good
or
practice.
their attitude is bad or their work ethic's not very good.
Yep.
So
Yep. No idea. Yeah.
Speaking of practice, let's get back to this Texas Christian Southern Methodist game.
Yeah.
Justin, I can't believe it was only 2 years ago. Sonny Dykes had TCU in the national championship game.
Yeah.
What? And now he's 7-9 since then. They have on Saturday they had the battle for something called the Iron Skillet between TCU and SMU. They're big rivals across Dallas. And Dykes got ejected right after the half. He went after some official on a bad call and he went crazy and he kept going crazy and they threw him out of the game. So Dykes is long gone this game. And as you said, they were trolling each other and the game was on the CW. And of course, Texas Christian thinks they're in the Big 12 and they're too big. They're too big for the CW network and too big to be playing an ACC game. And
They come out with this.
This is the best. This is terrific.
TCU comes out with this. They're trolling.
This is a horn frog, right?
All of our representatives are currently busy. Please stay on the line.
I want to know right now, what will it be?
But
I get it now. I get it now. TCU played that first, right?
Right.
Okay. Wait a minute. Okay.
The CW responded. Came back on them.
Well,
That's good stuff.
The social media team at TCU put this parody video up there. Right. They ripping SMU and the ACC and the CW basically for having the game there, right?
Yeah,
they're above that. Then they get their ashes totally kicked, 66 66-42. I mean,
I
that's worse
saw
than us. I'm like, that's almost as bad as us.
I saw
And
another
so,
great tweet that said, thankfully it was only on the CW, TCU probably.
so then after the game, SMU puts that up with the score, right? Puts the same song
The
with the song.
CW put it up.
You
The
put it up
CW put it up.
to
Yeah.
defend themselves. Yeah, to defend. They're trolling TCU. Of course, that song is Paula Cole
Yep.
wailing from the late '90s, and that was the theme song of Dawson's Creek. You remember
Oh,
Dawson's Creek,
okay.
the teenage soap, and that was their biggest show. And I thought, well, take that, Sonny Dykes, take that, Sonny Dykes. But unfortunately, Dawson's Creek ended in 2004. Sonny Dykes was already 35, so I'm not sure he would get that troll.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Sonny Dykes is a fraud, right? I mean, he took that team to the national championship with Gary Patterson's players, and
Yeah, well,
Right.
the quarterback was terrific.
yeah.
What his
So
name was,
I
yeah.
think he's a fraud. I think he's a bit of a grifter.
Yeah.
And I think his time in Fort Worth might be short. Sounds like.
Well, Curry, you were right. I mean, 2 years ago in the national championship, and now this is how you act. Usually, you play for a national championship. It's easy to recruit players, bring people in, and you keep that
Yeah.
level. I mean, you might drop off a little bit, but my goodness, they've really
And
dropped off.
yeah, now he's getting thrown out of his rivalry game in practically in the third quarter.
Well, and apparently they're not playing it after this year, right? And I think he
Oh,
has
well, it's because SMU went to the ACC, right?
right.
I don't maybe.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Why would
But
not?
the ACC has had some big wins with these new teams they've got.
Yeah.
Stanford beat Syracuse.
That's a big win up in
SMU killed
Syracuse.
Yeah, but
SMU
those are
killed
both
this team.
ACC teams now, Syracuse
Yeah.
and Stanford.
Well, that's true. That's true. But Syracuse really won that game. It was at home, and Stanford really won. They went crazy when they won that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing says ACC football like Syracuse versus Stanford.
But how about
and
Stanford had to go to Syracuse, right? Fly across the country. They have to fly back this week to go play at Clemson.
I saw that. What the hell? Who made that schedule? I mean, that's
the ACC.
unbelievable.
Well, that's
It's funny in the NFL. They always talk about these guys analyze these games like, well, a West Coast team has come to the East Coast. Man, they're at a disadvantage. But they hardly say that about college
I know.
football. Very
Yeah.
rarely they say that. But NFL,
You know
they
who
say it all the time.
You know who does is Jim Carville. When Jim Carville makes his picks on Tony Kornheiser, he's always talking about it.
He picks LSU a few times, right?
Always, yeah. He's always picking some wild games though. It'll be like Air Force playing San Diego State. It's over in this one. You're like, what?
Is he on every week, Justin?
Oh, just
Carville's on
about.
every week.
They play the midnight special as his entrance music. We got to get you.
We got to get a break here, right?
Yeah, we should probably get to a break, and then we'll talk some NFL here on Under the Bus. We'll be right back with you here on the Lowco Media Network. Hey, welcome back on Under the Bus. Justin Jarrett running point for Bob Stevens, who is on assignment. And we got Rich Basirico and Curry Kirkpatrick throwing people under the bus, roasting everybody in the sports world. And, of course, this time of year, we've always got to talk NFL. Big win for the Giants this week, Rich. And my
Really
fantasy
big.
teams are looking good. I don't know about yours, but the injuries are mounting up. So what did you guys take away from the NFL this weekend?
Well, anybody can beat anybody.
That's true.
Right? We just mentioned a little bit earlier, Giants winning. How about Carolina? They threw them under the bus. Well, we threw them under the bus, and then they bring in Andy Dalton, and he's like an all-pro quarterback. It was amazing how well he looked. He was terrific. He was outstanding. And I honestly, I didn't think Carolina. After watching Carolina the first two games, I'm thinking, this might be a team that doesn't win a game.
Right.
And of course, I said the same thing about the Giants too.
Well, poor little Bryce Young. I don't know where he ends up now with the red. About that game though. Here's who I'm putting under the bus is the Raiders. I mean, what happened to Raiders' pride? What happened to the big, tough, strong?
They left it in Oakland.
Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah,
I mean, what?
They left it in Oakland.
36-22, they got beat by the worst team in the league. I mean, come on.
At home.
Kudos at home. Kudos to the rebirth of the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. But come on. You're letting Andy Dalton throw for 319 yards on you? Come on. What are you talking about, Raiders? And, the second half. What?
With those receivers?
I mean, and you remember Antonio Pierce, the Raiders coach, came out after the game. He said, our players are making business decisions in the second half. Making businesses, meaning they're staying out of harm's way. They're not playing hard. They're not tackling hard. They're not blocking. They just want to end the game. And I think he was talking about everybody, but Max Crosby was hurt. They're great, end rusher. But Pierce said, okay, so we're going to be making some business decisions, and
I like that.
Yeah. Well, guys on the internet went out and pointed out one of their defensive back guy named Jack Jones, who was logging it. He was dogging it the whole game. And even, Devontae Adams came out in a podcast the next day and he agreed. He confirmed what Pierce was saying. He said players were taking plays off. He said we were just trying to see another day. I mean, what? And he did say that's not what the game's about. Well, yeah, I guess not.
Right.
I mean,
how do you not come to play in
off
football?
In the NFL?
Yeah, in football, you're playing once a week. I mean, I know it's a hard game to play, but when you look at it, I mean, a high school football game, if you ever tried this before, put a watch to the time the play starts and ends. The game takes about 7 minutes. That's all the playing time they play. 7 minutes. Yeah. So
they play more than the NFL, Rich.
Well, of course they do. Of course,
but the Raiders were playing. They're getting prepared for the worst team in the league.
Right.
Obviously, the worst team, and they get blown out at home. That's not acceptable, man.
It should never happen in the NFL. Think about it again. You play once a week. Baseball plays 6 out of 7 days. Basketball, you play 4 or 5 days a week. Sometimes maybe you're going to have an off night. You're playing once a week. How can you not come to play? You got to be ready to play. Strap on that helmet. And let's do it. Taking plays off.
Let me ask you about the Giants. So, let me ask you more. Actually, this is about the Cowboys. The Cowboys are coming to play the Giants this week, right? Playing Thursday night.
Tomorrow night.
How about the Cowboys' pride? What do you think they're doing?
That was awful too. The only thing I give them credit for, they came back in the fourth quarter and they had a chance. They had to get a stop on fourth down, which they didn't. But defensively,
the Ravens took their foot off the pedal, I think. I mean,
they
got blown out by the Saints. They got blown out most of the game by the Raiders. And I'm tired of Jerry Jones and who's the part Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
He comes out after the game, all these games, and he criticizes his teammates for not playing hard. I watch these games. I don't hear Micah Parsons' name mentioned anymore by the announcers. I don't see him making all these tackles, making all these big plays. He's got to shut up. I mean, I think one of his teammates told him to shut up, didn't he, on the sidelines?
He said, he said, my teammates think I'm Superman. I can't. Play like Superman then. They think you're Superman. Play like one. But
he's supposed to be Lawrence Taylor, Rich. He's supposed to be Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor never talked like that.
He's got the ability to do it. He's got the ability.
No, he doesn't. Forgive me.
North
Lawrence
Carolina
Taylor guy. I can't believe you said that, Rich.
Talk like that. Because Lawrence Taylor was.
No, I don't think he'd ever be good as Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor is the best of the best. But this guy Parsons is a good linebacker when he puts his mind to it.
He's terrific when he puts his mind to it. I'll give him that.
Exactly.
Have you heard his name much in the first 3 games?
No.
Have you heard his name?
First game of the season. First game of the season when they beat Cleveland.
That's
right.
Yeah.
They haven't been playing much defense over there in Dallas.
Who cares? How about Jarrett? How about Jarrett Jones? Who has to apologize and all this stuff. He's being, they asked him after the Ravens game, why isn't Derrick Henry playing for the Cowboys? Derrick Henry in the offseason, Derrick Henry lives in Dallas. When he was going to leave, he said he wanted to be a Cowboy, and apparently they never did anything about it.
To him.
I mean,
look at the running backs for Cowboys.
He got 150. He got 100. He said he didn't. He said he couldn't afford Derrick Henry, but he paid 2 other running backs the same amount of money, if they combined, And what Henry put 150 on him Sunday.
I think something like that.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
Jerry Jones is ridiculous. I mean, come on.
Well, when
did
he
come
sits
out
there and
finally.
talk, when you look at the team, a normal fan knows their backfield's terrible. They bring Elliott back. They let him go, and now you're bringing him
Terrible.
back. Why he's
And
gotten
he's,
better in the last 2 years? Give me a
He's
he's
break.
about 48 years old too.
He's cooked. It's going to be Dowdle for the.
What
going
happens
forward, I
though? What
think.
happens? Here's a tip for your Giants, Rich. What happens if the Cowboys come in there Thursday night and lose to the Giants? They beat the Giants in their sleep. I mean, they haven't lost the Giants in forever, right?
I think they're like in the last 13-1 in the last 14 games. I think it's something like that. Yeah.
What
So
happens? What happens
I don't know.
if
That's it.
Barkley?
Well, Giants going to be fired up.
I mean, Barkley's gone. What happens if some New York Giant running
Devin
back goes crazy
Singletary.
and they win? I mean,
It could
you
happen,
talk about
Curran. It could happen.
what's
It's a
that?
short week. It's a short week, and they have to travel to us. It could happen.
I know. Well,
Singletary, he's a good running back. Maybe not as good as Barkley, but he's a good running back. And Daniel Jones, everybody's throwing Daniel Jones under the bus. Now all of a sudden, his last 2 games, especially the last game, but even the game before when we didn't have a place kicker, we could be 2-1.
he played okay.
Yeah.
But if the Giants get up for this and beat the Cowboys are 1-3. What do you think it's going to be like in Dallas? Coach McCarthy. I mean, he
might
better
be
get his
gone.
seat on the plane going back home, or they might leave him on the tarmac.
They might.
'Cause he might be gone. He might be gone fast.
All right, so here's the full
And they
rundown.
keep talking. They keep talking about Bill Belichick's name out there.
I know.
Go hire. I mean,
Jarrett would
what
do it.
think? You
Oh
think?
my God!
But you know where I think
Fireworks.
Belichick would go? To Jacksonville.
I think that would work, and it would work. I mean, the Cowboys would be Cowboys again.
I don't know if Belichick and Jarrett could.
I don't think I agree with you. I don't think they work together at all.
So
I think you go to
Giants have
Jacksonville because
lost.
Jacksonville, that guy that owner will let him do what he wants.
That's a fair point.
That's
The
another
Giants
team.
lost
That look what's
6
happened to
straight
them.
and
0
12 of
3.
13.
Jacksonville. How about them?
Jacksonville. Well, they're lost. I mean,
They're
you
a
guys
mess.
talking about replacing the quarterback, right?
Yeah,
They're talking
well,
about
that's what they
replacing.
say.
Yeah,
Was the number 1 overall pick, right? From
of course.
Clemson.
From your school.
Trevor
Clemson.
Lawrence.
I've always liked him. I've always thought he's terrific. I don't know what's gone wrong there. I don't know. Of course, they said he got a little setback when what's his name coached him.
Oh, yeah.
Ohio State guy, that reprehensible.
Urban Meyer.
What a joke that was. Well, I think his hair's getting in the way.
Yeah.
Trevor.
Here you go, Rich. The Giants have lost the last 12 games that Dak Prescott has started.
12.
So
there you go.
They've
Okay.
lost
There you
12
go.
of the last
There you
13. I guess Dak must have been out for the one. So, yeah, that would be
I
pretty.
got another team we haven't mentioned. I'm tired of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Where does Cincinnati get off with all this trash talk that they always do? I mean,
They
prior
talk a lot.
to playing Kansas City, the receiver Chase came out and said, "We're the team to beat," and everyone knows it. What is he talking about? And then Kansas City beat. I mean, what has Cincinnati ever done? They got the one Super Bowl with who's the guy, the quarterback?
Was it
Burrow.
Boomer? Was it Boomer that was the quarterback that got them to the Super
Well,
Bowl?
Burrow got him to one as well.
Yeah. But so they have a guy this week, somebody named
Boomer did.
Cam Taylor Britt, who's no relation to Kamala nor to Taylor Swift. Cam Taylor Britt, he comes out and he says, they got a nice college offense, Washington. They got a nice college offense. They got, what's his name? The OC and the quarterback throws short routes and intermediate. And then Jaden Daniels just goes crazy on this guy and on the whole team. And becomes a superstar in one game.
They kicked their fannies. They really did.
Oh.
That was a shocking. Cincinnati was favored by 7.5, I think, going into that.
Well, there all
and they're
the
playing at home, and it's a desperate game for them. I mean, they're 0-2. They needed this game. They had to get a W. And they came out and played like dogs.
Even the coach Taylor, he said, we heard Britt's comment. He said, "We don't need to take shots like that. That's not who we are."
Yeah.
Well, yes, it is who you are, and 0-3 is who you are too. So, what's the deal? I got a question for you guys in this game. they had early in the game, Jane Daniels throws his first TD pass. It's the tackle eligible
Right. Yeah.
pass, right? You saw this?
Yeah.
He throws the
Yeah.
tackle eligible.
Yeah.
So, and he's been in the league 6 years, this guy. Trent Scott, 6 years been in the league. He makes his, and he makes the TD, and he runs around dancing like crazy. I mean, it's a great moment.
Great
But it's
dance.
Jaden Daniels' first TD pass. So who gets the
Gets the
ball?
football.
Oh, that's a
Who
good
gets the ball?
question.
Well,
I mean,
I don't. I just
after the game,
everybody gets.
Daniels
Both
said,
of them get the football. They both get it. Just give a
Yeah.
give a football, and say this was used in
Give
the
them
game.
both the football and don't tell either one of them which one's the real one,
That's
right?
right. Exactly.
Daniels said after the game, "I want the ball." He told the television audience, "I want the ball." I got a second question on this tackle eligible play. I've always wondered about this. The tackle eligible guy has to go and report to
Right.
the
Yes.
referee. He has to go like
Yeah.
sign into the game, right?
Right.
Well, when he does that, the entire defense sees him, right?
Right.
So they know it's a trick play. They know he's going to be involved. Why does it always work? Why doesn't the
Well,
I mean, the defense showed the guy, and there was nowhere near him when he threw the ball to him.
I think it works sometimes because I think they do it more often than we realize. We just
Yeah.
don't notice it as the viewer because they don't throw them the ball. They just go in there to block. But
Well,
they're
I've
eligible.
seen it a lot where
because
I've
they're
seen it a
on
lot
the-
where they throw. I've
Yeah.
seen it a lot where they're throwing the ball and it's success. It's always successful. It seems to me.
Always.
And I always wonder. And I always wonder why the defense doesn't see that. Let me ask you this: why does he have to report in? Why doesn't he have to just? Why doesn't he just
Because
go
he
in the
doesn't
game?
because he doesn't have a number
number.
that is typically an eligible receiver, so they have to make the defense aware that he's an eligible receiver.
Who
Right.
Who cares? I mean, football's all trickery. It's all trickery. Why? Who
It is all
cares?
trickery. Here's the
They
play.
should be made to. They
And the
should be
dance.
made to watch. Here it is. Good
Here
for
you go.
There it
you
is.
Look
There's
at
the
it. Look at that.
dance.
Nobody's
The
near
dance
him.
is great.
Nobody's
The
near him.
dance is the
I want
dance.
more
It's
dance.
great.
Here we go. Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
Why
Great
job,
don't more
Justin.
teams? My question is, why don't more teams do that? It works.
Well, it
don't know.
seems to me every time I see it, it's successful. I don't know. Maybe I don't watch enough NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a timing play and a read where if they can clear this one guy out, then if the guy holds the block long enough and then releases, nobody's
That's
there.
it. Yeah. But I still say, why does he have to check in? It's all mirrors, and I mean, it's all trickery.
Them's the rules.
NFL. So stupid rule.
Them's
By
just
the way,
the
I
rules.
forgot to get off the line. Cincinnati's 0-3, and they're winless since Burrow went blonde. He hasn't won a game since he went blonde.
Yeah, it's the frosted
So
test,
maybe-
right?
He
Maybe
needs
he needs
to
to
tie
go
his hair
back.
back. He needs to
Needs
tie
to
his
go
hair
back.
back.
I got a trivia question for you, Rich. We were
right.
talking about Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin, who had an incredible game against Cincinnati. McLaurin has caught a pass from 11 different quarterbacks in his
my
tenure in Washington. You want to take a run at naming them, or you want me
No,
to just?
I could. I'm not a Washington fan. I couldn't.
You got Jaden
Jeez.
Daniels, Jacoby Brissett. Here,
Yeah.
I'll pull it up. Sam Howell, Carson Wentz,
Sam Howell.
Garrett Gilbert, Taylor Heineke, Kyle Allen, Dwayne Haskins. Rest in peace, right? Case Keenum,
Dwayne Haskins.
Smith,
Oh,
and
wow.
boy, quite a list there.
That's a great trivia question. I don't know anybody could answer all those
Right?
those.
I know. I'm Tony Kornheiser could, right?
You
Justin?
think?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. He might blank on it.
Did you say a pass or a touchdown pass from each
A
of those
pass.
guys?
They
A
have
pass.
completed a pass to Terry McLaurin. 11 different quarterbacks.
That's
He hasn't been in the
that's
league
amazing.
that long.
no.
That's
No.
amazing.
They change quarterbacks like every other year,
Yeah.
right? Sam Howell. They didn't give Sam Howell, Curry. He's one of your guys. They didn't give him
I
much
know.
time there.
He's a
Much time.
backup now in San Diego.
Seattle.
I think.
Seattle.
Or, I mean, Seattle.
And
This
he
is
had
only
actually had a good
McLaurin's-
preseason. A real good.
You know,
This is
he's
only
pretty good.
McLaurin's sixth season, and he's had 11.
He's not bad, Sam Howell. Not bad.
No, he wasn't bad. Where's he at now?
Seattle.
Rich said Seattle. He keeps it,
Gotcha. 10-4. Anything else on the NFL, boys?
If we're winding down, well, I got a baseball question for you.
Okay, you
How
want to
about-
do it after the break?
Oh, okay, for sure.
Yeah,
Take a quick break. All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back to see what baseball question Curry has for us and see who else ends up under the bus. We'll see you real soon. All right, we welcome you back under the bus, and Curry had a baseball question before the break, and we definitely have some baseball ground to cover because it's time, and we got a 50-50 to talk about. But what you got, Curry?
Well, there was some great baseball, clinchers last night, right? Houston Astros clinched and somebody else clinched.
Baltimore,
Yes.
but not the Yankees.
Baltimore clinched, and then the best of all was San Diego. San Diego gets the triple play to end the game and clinch their spot. I mean, that was amazing. But I got a question, Justin.
Okay.
Dodgers have men on first and second, nobody out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rojas up, and he tries to bunt the first pitch. The bunt is on, which is going to sacrifice the two guys, second and third, with guess who coming up? Shohei
Ohtani. Right.
I mean, that's the play, isn't it? Dave Roberts is going to bunt. But the second pitch, he takes the bunt off. And Rojas hits away into the triple play.
Line drive.
And I don't think you saw this, but Roberts got roasted. LA fans are always roasting him anyway. But asking the question, why did you take the bunt off? I mean, he can do anything there. Anything he does is better than what he did. What
do you do? Hit a line drive to somebody?
Line drive to Manny Machado, but and it's a triple play. But don't you want to do the sacrifice? Don't you want to put the bunt down and you got to get a guy on second and third with Shohei and Betts coming up?
I mean, I do. I'm kind of old school. I'm not old school on a lot of things as far as I do embrace analytics and all that, but man, I still believe there is a time and place for the sacrifice bunt. And if that ain't it, I don't know what is. Your 9-hole hitters up, and you can put the tying and winning runs in scoring position by giving up an out, and then you got two of the best hitters in baseball coming up with two cracks at it.
Yeah.
It takes the force off too, takes the double play away. There's so many reasons why you
score on the sacrifice fly, or first and second you can. You can score on
I mean, wild pitch pass ball. I mean,
even a strikeout is better than what happened. If he strikes out, they've got Shohei coming up. The problem is Dave Roberts complicated it because after the game, he said, "Well, they asked him why he didn't bunt the second time. You have Rojas bunt." He said he didn't want to bunt into an out. Well, yes, he did because the first pitch is exactly what he wanted to do. It's exactly what he wanted to do, and he says after the game, "I didn't want to do that." That don't make any sense.
They always
on the first pitch, but not on the second pitch. He changed his mind, basically.
Yeah.
You know what happened? He figured out his hitter couldn't bunt. That's what he did. He figured out that he couldn't bunt.
Yeah.
Boone does that too. The Yankees did the same thing yesterday. Torres was on. Second base. Soto gets a hit. They cut it to 1 run, and he gets caught in a rundown between third and home. Gets the third out, and guess who's coming up next? Judge.
Well,
he stays at third. And Soto goes to second, and Judge is coming up, down 1.
And that's where I think that we have to hit pause on the analytics sometimes and go, yes, I know in a vacuum, statistically, we're more likely to score that run by swinging away than we are by sacrificing. But we don't exist in a vacuum. We exist in a world where Miguel Rojas is up to bat, and Shohei Ohtani's on deck, and Mookie Betts is after him. This is not an ordinary situation.
Right.
So, I think you have to use a little bit of real world common sense combined with the analytics. And
I take the analytics out, throw it out. I'm tired of analytics. They just want to use them when they want to use them. They don't use it all the time. That's the problem. They don't use it all the time. When the Yankees last year put up guys batting 059 in the lineup, where's your analytics then?
Batting second.
Yeah.
Well, the statistics show that with his optimal launch angle and contact rate, that he's going to regress to the mean.
Right, and he ate 2 cheeseburgers the day before, so now he's ready to play today. And we talk about the Yankees. All you got to do is win 1 game to clinch first place. They lost last night, and they're getting their fannies kicked again tonight. So we'll
Okay,
see what
Rich.
happens.
Rich, one question for you: Does Judge get to 60 by the end of the
No,
weekend?
no,
No.
no.
What's he
I
got?
don't think
50?
so.
What's he got? 56?
56.
Come on.
56. I mean, I hope he does. I really do, but I don't think he gets to 60.
Depends how friendly
Yeah.
the pitchers are, right? If they
Right.
serve him
Yeah.
some cookies, then he
Yeah.
might. But
So,
how
just
about
talking
OT?
about baseball, how about today
How
with
about
the Braves
Otani?
and Braves and the
Come on,
Mets?
kid.
They
Okay.
wouldn't move the Braves wouldn't move the game up, so they had to cancel. They have to play a doubleheader on Monday now.
Ah,
Yeah.
gee.
How
So
smart is that?
the Braves wouldn't move the game up. When?
Today.
Today?
So
Well,
they
it's
got
raining.
rained out, and they already canceled tomorrow's game because all the rain coming. So they have to
Well,
come back on Monday and play a doubleheader.
I know that, Rich, but when did you say the Braves
Tonight they were
declined
supposed to
to
play
move?
tonight. They were supposed to play tonight,
But it's
and
raining tonight, Rich. It's
I
raining. They
know, but
couldn't
they
play.
could have moved the game up to a 1 o'clock game.
Oh,
Oh, this
yeah.
afternoon?
Yeah,
It was,
Detroit did that yesterday. Detroit moved their game up to the afternoon game, and they got the
I think
game
there
in.
was rain this afternoon, too.
Well,
Wasn't it rain
maybe
this afternoon?
I don't know. I'm not in the lane. I don't know, but
Well,
He
you're
just
getting,
wants to. He just wants to
you're
throw the
getting,
Braves under the bus.
yeah, I want
yeah,
to throw
you're
the
getting
Braves
on
on
my
the
Braves.
bus.
You're
These
getting
New
on my
York
Braves.
boys. These New York boys are hot under the collar.
They
Let's get
are.
them
Yeah,
on the
They're
phone.
starting to feel the apple, the big apple, the Mets and the Yankees, the big apple.
Yeah, Mets are back in the mix now. Detroit back in the mix
How
now.
about that? That's a
Yeah,
great story about Detroit.
that was
How can Detroit make the playoffs? Come on.
I mean,
These
the
play,
Yankees.
they're
the
gonna make
American
it.
League,
They're
the
gonna
American
make
League
it.
playoffs American League playoffs seem very boring to me with some of these teams in there. I never,
Yeah. I mean, the Yankees, obviously, rooting against the Yankees will be fun, but
Yeah, the Yankees didn't even make the
rooting against
playoffs last year.
the Astros. But
Well,
speaking of
it's
the
going to be a
playoffs,
coin flip, as we said. It's going to be a coin flip. The whole Major League Baseball playoffs.
Anybody, you know what the team we talked about this before. Milwaukee and San Diego are two
San Diego,
teams.
I like San Diego. Yeah,
Both those teams are hot right now, and who knows? I don't think the Dodgers will be there. I don't think the Yankees will be there. I don't think
really.
Houston will be there. I think in the National League anyway, between Milwaukee and San Diego, American League, it's a coin flip. It really is. Who would you
Baltimore,
pick in the American League? Seriously, Baltimore?
because they're getting
yeah, I
hot
think
here.
so. But they're awfully young, a lot of guys who haven't been there before, so I don't know. But no, I mean, to your point, last year it was two teams that were the last two teams in, right? Were
Right.
the two teams that got to the World Series.
Yep.
I mean, just because you're the best team over 162 doesn't mean you're going to be the best over 19 or whatever it is now. And format's changed too, which also monkeys things up.
And I can never understand. They keep changing the format, so I don't understand it either.
Every 2 years, whether they need to or not. Right?
Justin, is your favorite Arizona Diamondback? Are they going to make it?
They're right there on the cusp.
They're right there, but they can hit the heck out of the ball. They can't pitch.
Yeah, the little hobbit, Corbin Carroll. I do enjoy him.
Yeah, Corbin Carroll. Yeah.
The Cubs are long gone. But how about Otani, 50-50, and did not wait around to do it. Just went 6 for 6 and hit 3 homers and stole 2 bases all in one night to get it done. That was an unbelievable.
And if Rojas had sacrificed, I think he'd hit a grand slam or something last night.
Right. Yeah.
You see the person that got the ball won't give it back. They offered him $3 million and he's holding on to it.
Yeah, I saw that. He said they were going to auction it, right?
Who offered him $3 million?
I don't know who it was. The Dodgers.
Ippei?
It was probably UNLV. I think it was UNLV.
I think it was Ippei and Mitsuhara.
That's where their money's going. They want baseballs, not players.
But no, I saw that they were going to put it up for auction, opening bid of 500,000. So he must think he can get more than $3 million for it.
Good God, good gracious.
Yeah, that's wild.
Well, I got one other under the bus character. This is a pet peeve of Rich and I's, and is kind of personal this week. But Josh Heupel, the coach at Tennessee, goes into Oklahoma, big game Saturday night, and 24 years ago, I did a ESPN game day piece on a young star quarterback. He was becoming a star at Oklahoma named Josh Heupel. He was a junior college guy that Stoops got out of Snow Junior College. He was from Aberdeen, South Dakota. I totally had forgotten about this piece. And Fran Fraschilla, the basketball coach, sent me an email on Friday afternoon. He saw this up on X, up on the platform X. Somebody had put up my piece there and saying how things have changed so much. Heupel is now the coach of Tennessee, and he's going back to play. And of course, he won the game. I remember this piece when I saw it again because Venables, the coach at Oklahoma now, was an assistant. He was in the piece, and of course Bob Stoops and Heupel himself. But boy, Heupel's look has really changed. And here's Rich and I's pet peeve.
Double chin now.
How do these great athletes let themselves go so much and become coaches? I mean, Heupel, he's got to be 250, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
He's got a double chin. Well,
Yeah.
Curry, I watched that again, and you look at him when he was a quarterback back at Oklahoma. You would not say, if you looked at him back then and look at him now coaching, you would never put them together. No,
never. Did
No.
not look like the same person.
No.
Did not.
No,
look-
I remember
Well,
the first time I saw him as a coach, and I was like, "What?" Like, he was a little skinny dude when he played. And
He was
Skinny
a
left-handed.
runner-up for
He's
Heisman.
thick.
He was a runner-up.
He's thick now.
Curry, who won it that year when he was a runner-up his senior year?
I forgot, but Heupel was a skinny left-hander. He won the national championship for Nebraska that year.
Right.
I forget who won the Heisman, but I remember him so well after I saw my piece that I did on him. By the way, I look pretty good too. But but obviously Heupel has free coupons to all of Baskin Robbins in Knoxville, Tennessee, or something. I mean, how about there are some other fatties going along. Well, Mac Brown a couple of years ago, you guys, he would come out in his Carolina baby blue sweatshirt and was hanging down, and below his belt was hanging this huge tummy. I mean, he looked like he was pregnant, seriously. And now he's lost a lot of weight. They've got to. I saw the Illinois. What was it? The Illinois Nebraska game, and that's Nebraska. What's the guy's name? Matt Rule.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
He's coaching against Brent Bielema. Brent Bielema's got to go 350, 350, and Rule is about 220, I think. But did you see Brett? You've seen Brett Bielema, right? He's been all over, and now he was at Arkansas. Now he is enormous.
I didn't realize he was that big.
Oh my
That's
God!
embarrassing. To me, that's embarrassing when you tell your players how well they have to be in shape and be in the weight and everything else, and you can't even walk without your stomach moving.
Yeah,
Charlie Weiss. Charlie Weiss.
It's embarrassing. You should be in the best shape you could possibly be because you're going to be a great example.
Rich has talked about to me for a long time. He says, how can these fat guys go into a living room of a kid they're trying to recruit, and the parents look at this guy and he's a total fat slob? What's the story?
I'm going to make you into a world-class athlete.
Yes, right. Exactly. Follow my diet.
It was Chris Winkie, by the way, who
Chris
good for you. Good for you. Well, Matt Rule, to get back to our fatties deal, Matt Rule and Brett Bielema look like could be a pie eating contest. I mean, these guys are, come on. It reminded me of, you remember Mark Mangino?
Yeah.
Remember him?
Sure do.
I mean, oh my God. He was a Kansas coach and he was easy 350, easy. And, he was Kansas's most successful coach ever. He lost 125 pounds in 2 seasons, though. He went on his diet, and it wasn't enough because he lost his job because he was so abusive to his players. He was abusive to players, and he was also abusive to these campus police that came around because he was always parking. He's always got parking tickets, and so he was abusive to the campus police. There he is. Jeez.
Look at him. That's ridiculous.
Justin, you were so on the spot. Oh my God, Mark Mangino, and he did one of those operations though. Those.
He did. Really?
That Charlie Weiss had. Charlie Weiss.
Charlie Weiss is another one. Charlie Weiss is another one.
Justin mentioned him a few minutes ago. I mean, he's the king of Krispy Kremes. That guy. He was everywhere. He finally. He coached at Notre Dame. Can you believe Notre Dame hired that guy? I couldn't.
How about Curry? After 1 year at Notre Dame, they gave him a 10-year contract.
Right.
Yeah, the first year was a good year. They gave him a 10-year contract. How long did he last? What, 2 more years? That
Yeah,
was
not
about it.
long.
He gave
Can
him
you
the last-
imagine where he went when he got the contract? Can you imagine how many wings, how many chicken wings he
White
could get on that?
Castles.
He
No, you look. Now think about this: basketball coaches. You don't find many. There's occasional a big guy, but really, when you
Yeah,
look at
Rick
basketball,
Majerus was a pretty
Rick
big guy.
Majerus, yeah, that's one that comes to
Majerus.
your mind.
Yeah, he was
But
good. He was
who
a
else?
terrific
When you
coach.
think about it, really, who else? When you look down the line, Dean Smith, Lou Carnesecca, Jay Wright,
Not too much.
Well,
you know,
Justin's got him.
Boeheim.
Justin's got him. He's about the only successful one. I can
Majerus is
remember.
about the only one that really
Right.
comes to mind.
Majerus.
That's
And
right.
Majerus was a great guy too. I mean, he
Yeah.
was wonderful.
He lived in a
But,
hotel
you know,
room, right? Didn't he live in a hotel room?
live in a hotel room in when he's coaching
Utah.
Brigham Young. Brigham
Utah.
Young. Yeah.
Yeah.
Utah.
Utah, yeah.
He
Yeah.
got to the
The
championship game.
Utes. The
He
Utes.
got to the championship game and beat us in the semifinals.
Who'd they
Oh,
play?
wow.
The championship game got beat by
Kentucky or
Kentucky.
Duke?
Remember?
One or the other. Yeah,
The
I do remember.
but getting back to Weiss, he had that gastric bypass
Mhm.
surgery. I mean, he was easy 350. It's unbelievable. He went into a coma for 2 weeks and almost died. Charlie
Oh,
Weiss did in that
Diabetic
operation
coma?
because he.
after the operation? Really?
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
he lost 125 pounds, but of course he almost died. And here's the problem. He had ignored his doctor's advice, who wanted him to wait to have the operation because Charlie wanted to get it done real fast. Apparently wasn't ready for it. And he lost 125 pounds, but he sued. And like most of the games, he lost the lawsuit as well.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
because in the lawsuit he had ignored his doctor's advice, so he
Right.
lost that one. He lost that one too.
Is he still alive, Curry?
Yeah.
There's a good dead or alive for you, Justin. That's much better than Wayne Newton. Come on,
Charlie
I think
Weiss?
Charlie Weiss is still alive.
Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay.
I think he might be an assistant somewhere.
No. You think?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's definitely still
You know,
alive.
these guys recycle these people. Rich, you know better than that. You got
he
recycled all your
also-
life.
like
He
Larry
also
Brown.
coached at
Larry
Kansas.
Brown.
Larry Brown
right.
still stayed skinny though. He still
Yeah,
stayed
he's
skinny.
still alive, but I can't tell that he's coaching anywhere. But
Okay.
Charlie Weiss.
Did you
is still
look
alive.
up? Did you look up Wayne Newton?
I did not. I did not. You seemed confident he was
I'm-
still alive.
Absolutely.
Oh, Wayne Newton's still alive. Yeah, man.
Absolutely, and he's still
Still kicking.
performing.
You won't
Still
recognize
kicking,
him, but he's
Mr.
still
Las
alive.
Vegas. He's 82,
Wow.
There you go. There you go.
2 years old. All right,
Viva
boys.
Las Vegas.
Anyone else to throw under the bus before we call it a night?
I'm done. I'm done.
I'm good.
Everyone
I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry though. Talking about all these big.
They all
We'll have
coached
to- we'll have
in
some
Kansas.
donuts
What's the
delivered
deal with
to you.
that? But all right, well, it was a great time, fellas. I
Yeah.
suppose Bob will be back next week, so I'll have to go back to the producer chair. But I'll look forward to the next time somebody's on vacation, so I get to sit in and shove some people under the bus. Thanks to Hudson Seafood House on the Docks for their sponsorship, making this possible. Thanks to you guys for making Lowco Media the home of Under the Bus. We appreciate it, and it's always
Thank you,
fun.
Justin. Thanks
Thanks,
for
Justin.
filling in, man.
Thanks. We
You've been
enjoyed it.
terrific.
It's fun.
All right, y'all be
Take
good.
care.
We'll be back next
Go
week.
Giants. Go
More
Giants.
Under the Bus. I can't get behind that. But, well, this week I can against the Cowboys. Go
Tar Heels.
Giants.
Under the Bus is a production of the Lowco Media Network and is filmed on the Hilton Head Island campus of the University of South Carolina, Beaufort. The executive producer is Justin Jarrett, with assistance from Trey Ramsey, Mahogany Hickman, and Adam Carroll.